What if Obi-Wan fought Palpatine and Yoda fought Anakin? In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan tracked Anakin to Mustafar while Yoda engaged Palpatine on Coruscant. What resulted was Yoda going into exile, Anakin into the Darth Vader suit, and 20 years of Imperial rule. But what if this wasn't the case? And what if Obi-Wan fought Palpatine while Yoda fought Anakin? How would that change the Star Wars timeline we all know and love today? Let's start today's story at the Jedi Temple right after Obi-Wan and Yoda learn that Anakin has turned to the dark side and Palpatine's the Sith Lord. Obi-Wan stood there shocked. Moments before, he had just seen Anakin fighting other Jedi in the temple and even choking younglings. This wasn't the apprentice he trained. This wasn't his brother. It was a twisted man. Yoda announces they must destroy the Sith. Kenobi was feeling a mixture of emotions. He couldn't believe the young boy that Qui-Gon had so much faith in had turned into this evil man. Send me to kill the Emperor. I will not kill Anakin.
To fight this Lord Sidious, strong enough you are not.
In the original timeline, Yoda didn't allow Obi-Wan to fight Palpatine, but I believe if he had made his stance clear about fighting Anakin, then Yoda would have no choice but to agree. I will not fight Anakin. He's my brother. I could never bring myself to kill him. Yoda would object to this and say he's not Anakin. He's Vader, a completely different man. Master, you're not listening. If you send me to fight Anakin, I will not kill him, and Vader will still be out there in the galaxy.
A mistake this is, Obi-Wan.
But Kenobi didn't budge. With great reluctance, Yoda says,
To Sidious you will go. Find Vader, I will.
As Yoda goes to exit the room, Obi-Wan calls out to him one last time. Please, Master, before you kill him, try and find the light in him again. I know it's in there, even if it doesn't shine as bright as it used to. Yoda didn't respond, but he heard the message. From here, Yoda walks the halls of the Jedi Temple. He sees bodies from fallen Jedi everywhere. It was a horror sight, and he couldn't believe young Skywalker had fallen so deeply in the dark side. Nevertheless, the Grand Master continues to walk as he makes it through the battle hall where Master Sin's relic lay defeated, perhaps the most powerful Jedi at the temple during its destruction. Yoda walks over to a console on the wall as he activates the security recordings. He sees the temple being destroyed by clone troopers, and then he sees him, Vader, marching the halls and slaughtering the temple. He then sees Darth Sidious arrive at the temple and congratulate Vader, but this time, the conversation goes further than the previous recording in the Great Hall where he and Obi-Wan watched. Yoda watches Palpatine tell the fallen knight that he has almost achieved the power to save Padme from death, and that's when it clicks for Yoda. Padme Amidala, that's who Anakin came talking about during his confession only days earlier. Anakin was having premonitions of Padme dying, and Yoda concluded that Sidious surely would have offered Anakin the power to save her. The Grand Master leaves the temple and goes to Padme's apartment.
Yoda, what are you doing here?
Grave news, Senator. Fallen Anakin has. To the dark side. Turned he has.
Padme felt her heart drop. No, that's not true. It can't be, she thought to herself. Anakin would never turn to the dark side. He spent his entire life fighting against evil. She couldn't believe this, and she quickly felt her stomach turn. And then she remembered her children. Tears streamed down her face.
Find him, I must. Since I do, that you know where he is.
Padme paused.
You're going to kill him, aren't you?
When Obi-Wan was asked this, he answered emotionally. But Yoda remained stoic and knew that he needed to be careful, so Padme still revealed the information.
Help him, I wish to.
If Anakin is in danger, I need to go to him.
Know where he is, do you?
Padme hesitated, but for some reason she trusted Yoda. In her mind, he was the only one that could save Anakin.
Mustafar. He went to Mustafar.
Before Yoda left, Padme blurted,
But if you're going, I'm going with you. I won't abandon him.
The Grand Master reluctantly agrees. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan goes to Palpatine's office. Sidious was admittedly confused and shocked to see Kenobi enter. On paper, Palpatine was so much more powerful than Obi-Wan, and it was like he stood no chance. Even naturally, Obi-Wan only has 13,000 midichlorians compared to Palpatine's 20,000 M count. Palpatine began to laugh. Ah, so the master comes to avenge his failed apprentice. Obi-Wan became stern very quickly. I'm here because of what you turned him into. They both ignited their lightsabers and attacked. Palpatine was the aggressor, shifting between forms 5 and 7 and placing Kenobi on the back foot. As they clashed, Obi-Wan looked for an opening to strike himself, but he wasn't finding one. Somehow, Palpatine's defense was flawless, and it was like there was no way through. As time went on, Obi-Wan felt like he needed to force his way through, and so he swung violently at Palpatine's head, but this left him open to a strike below, and it was done. Palpatine smiled as he moved on with his day. Yoda and Padme arrive on Mustafar. Just like the original timeline, Anakin and Padme speak before Yoda reveals himself. Padme first tries it her way and says she wants to run away and raise their children while they still can. But Anakin was consumed by evil and told her they can rule the galaxy together. They don't need to hide away in the corner of the galaxy. Padme didn't understand.
Yoda was right. You've changed.
Anakin's voice dropped and anger rose in him. What do you mean, Yoda? At that very moment, the Grand Master appeared at the top of the ship, and hatred overtook the Nightfall Anakin. You chose him over me. He outstretched his hand and choked her, causing Yoda to immediately react, force pushing Anakin aside and breaking his connection with Padme. She still fell unconscious, but her injuries were not as severe as in the original timeline. You should have stayed out of this, old man. Padme was mine to protect.
Protect her? Harm her you did. Yet fear, not hatred, I sense in you, young Skywalker.
Anakin's emotions rose. He didn't want to think about fear. He had spent his whole life fixated on that emotion. Now he would focus on strength and power. I'm beyond your judgment.
Beyond saving, you are not. Sense the light in you. Deep within I do.
Anakin had enough, and he flew towards Yoda, igniting his sapphire blade and attacking. Yoda moved fast, leaping around Anakin and using Ataru to his advantage. Anakin was a violent storm. He felt betrayed, like the very people he used to put his faith in turned his back on him. Only Palpatine didn't betray him, he thought to himself. They continued to fight across the fiery plain. Yoda spoke to him in between strikes, trying to speak to any light within him. He recalled back to Obi-Wan, pleading with him to search for any goodness in Anakin, and to Yoda's surprise, he could actually sense some. As they fought down the lava bank, Yoda quickly switched from Otaru to Demso, catching Anakin off guard and allowing Yoda to disarm the Chosen One to the ground. He pointed his emerald blade to his throat. Anakin laughed as he looked up at Yoda. You can't kill me. I'm unarmed. It's not the Jedi way. For once, Yoda felt his emotions rise.
Destroyed the Jedi, you have. No more rules to follow, are there?
The Grand Master raises his emerald blade, but before he swings, Padme screams at him to stop. Padme had woken up and found them on the lava bank.
Leave, Senator. Not safe is this.
Padme practically ignored Yoda as she was completely focused on Anakin. Why did you choose the Jedi? You betrayed me. Padme shook her head. She was horrified.
This isn't you, Anakin.
It is me, Anakin spat. He was determined to bring Padme to his side. The Jedi kept me weak, but Palpatine showed me the truth. With power, I can save you, save our child. No one will take you away from me again. Padme was astounded that Anakin couldn't hear what he was saying.
Anakin, he's the one who makes you afraid. He's the one that's been manipulating you and filling your head with all these ideas for years. Can't you see that?
Anakin paused for a moment, but he masked his true feelings with rage. You don't understand anything.
Yes, I do. Palpatine fed your fear. He told you someone you loved would die. He made you believe he could stop it. He controlled you by twisting the thing you were most afraid of.
Padme spoke like a true senator. He promised me the power to save you. Padme lowered her voice to a whisper.
And did he? Or did he just take everything else from you instead?
Anakin's face flickered. Emotions came pouring in. Doubt, confusion, fear. Instead of responding in anger, Anakin thought to himself, because of Palpatine, Padme may never speak to him again, and then he would be truly alone. He had to give up literally everything in order to keep Padme. I did this for us.
No, you did this because he made you believe you were alone. He made you believe the Jedi didn't care. He turned your love into fear, and your fear into obedience.
Anakin couldn't believe it. Was she right? He thought to himself. Did he just make the biggest mistake of his life? I was trying to protect you.
Then protect me now. Come back. Let go of him. Let go of the fear he put inside of you.
There was silence. As the fire and lava erupted around them, Anakin was at a crossroads. Without even realizing it, Anakin turned back to the light. There was only one person in the entire galaxy that could turn Anakin back, and that was Padme. Anakin looked down at his hands in horror. What have I done? Padme gathered Anakin into her arms as he stood up, and the three of them went back to Padme's ship. I'm so sorry, Padme. Master Yoda, I'm so sorry. Yoda remained silent. He understood there was no point in dwelling on the past, but instead, they had to fix the future. When they arrived at Padme's ship, they opened the intercom and contacted Obi-Wan, hoping to hear an update on his fight with Emperor Palpatine. However, when they called him, it wasn't Kenobi who answered.
Master Yoda. I'm afraid Kenobi cannot answer in his current condition.
Padme gasped and Anakin clenched his fists. They all knew what he meant.
What have you done, Sidious? Only what your precious order taught me, Master. Remove the obstacle, and victory follows.
He continued to laugh as he mocked them.
And where is my apprentice?
Anakin stepped forward. I am no longer your apprentice. For a moment, Palpatine froze, then rage and anger sunk in.
You ungrateful child. After all I have given you, after all I promised, you chose them.
However, Anakin remained stoic. I chose the light, and I chose Padme. Palpatine became stern very quickly.
You will regret this betrayal, Anakin. Both of you. Strong you may be, but not strong enough for the might of the Empire.
As they talked, Yoda's ears perked, as if he sensed something. Then the Grand Master's blank expression turned into shock.
Tracing our signal, he is.
Palpatine's smile immediately returned.
Oh, I already have. Enjoy your last moments together. I will see you soon.
The transmission cut and the trio stood there in disbelief. This was bad. They were now the last hopes for the galaxy, but a fleet of Imperial starships were heading straight towards them. They knew they had to make a decision on what to do next, very quickly, but that decision was taken out of their hands when Padme suddenly dropped to the floor. Anakin dropped down to help her, but Padme said the baby was coming. They had no time to waste. For her safety and the safety of the children, she had to give birth on Mustafar. Yoda and Anakin run into the Mustafar facility where the bodies of the Separatist leaders were lying after Anakin had killed them only moments earlier. With the help of R2 and C-3PO, they locate medical droids and turn them back on. A makeshift medical bed is created where Padme was placed. It's okay, my love. I'm here with you. This was not the environment for childbirth, and Padme was under incredible stress, not to mention the thousands of troopers heading their way at this very moment. Anakin and Yoda waited and hoped for the best. Anakin still recalled his visions of Padme dying in childbirth, and now was the time to see whether his visions would come true. As time passed, Padme successfully gave birth to twins. It turns out having Anakin by her side meant she didn't succumb to a broken heart. Instead, she was over the moon. She couldn't have been happier.
Annie, this is Leia, just like we talked about.
Anakin smiled. That was perfect. And him? As Anakin looked down at the young boy, he said, Qui-Gon. Padme smiled. It was perfect. However, as they celebrated, sirens sounded throughout the building. As Yoda looked towards the atmosphere, he said,
Arrived, Sidious has.
His Lambda shuttle landed alongside a fleet of Imperial gunships, which dispersed hundreds of stormtroopers. Anakin remained by Padme's side as she cradled both twins in her hands. They were surrounded. There was no way of escaping or defeating this many troops. Handcuffs were placed on each of them as Palpatine approached.
Well, what a touching scene. A family reunion.
Padme held the twins tighter than ever before.
You won't touch them.
Palpatine smirked.
My dear,
You are in no position to make demands. Anakin felt his wrist strain against the handcuffs. If you harm them, I swear.
Swear nothing.
You made your choice, Lord Vader. A foolish one.
And today, your reign will stop you. We will, whatever the cost.
Always so confident in your prophecies, Master Yoda. Everyone spun their head around. Master? It was Obi-Wan Kenobi, reborn. Something was clearly different. He was adorned by the suit that was meant for Vader, but after learning of Anakin's betrayal, Palpatine gave it to Kenobi. Obi-Wan's eyes were a dark yellow, and there was no humanity behind them. Palpatine laughed. After I defeated your master, I saw an opportunity. He lay on the ground, and it was like he was begging me to save him. So I remade him. A few whispers of the Force, and he was mine, forever. And now he serves me, just as you were meant to. Everyone was completely shocked. They thought their friend was dead, but here he was. But was this worse? Anakin thought to himself. Then Palpatine looks at Anakin and Padme's children. I almost forgot they were here. He slowly advances towards them, his lips curled into the most menacing smile possible. Such potent Force signatures. Welcome, my children. You are the new heirs of the Sith. You will become what your pitiful father could not. Don't you dare touch them. Or what, my old apprentice? Palpatine felt victorious. Like there was nothing anyone else could do. But then Padme began panicking.
Anakin, please.
As tears streamed down his wife's face, something in the Chosen One snapped. His beautiful redeemed blue eyes shattered, and an amber yellow took hold. The dark side fueled him from all corners as he felt his rage and power increase. With one flick of the Force, he broke the chains keeping him locked. In one swift move, he jumps into the air, using the Force to pull every single stormtrooper around him upward and breaks all of their necks with the Force. Palpatine's smile immediately dropped. Anakin landed, his rage completely taken over. He pointed at Palpatine. Get away from my children. Anakin ignited his blue lightsaber, but at this moment, Palpatine's lips returned to a smile. He wasn't afraid, he was thrilled. Yes, that is the power I knew was within you. That is the power of the dark side. Palpatine uses the Force to release Yoda's chains. He tells Kenobi to kill Yoda and prove he is worthy of being a Sith. Yoda and Obi-Wan begin fighting across the lava. Meanwhile, Palpatine finally ignites his crimson saber and attacks Anakin. These two fights were fierce and fast. Padme watched in horror as she prayed for Anakin's safety. As Yoda and Kenobi fought, Obi-Wan was no match for the Grand Master. Despite his elevated power by being in the dark side, Yoda was able to best him, and he disarmed and knocked Obi-Wan in the head, causing him to fall unconscious and out of the fight. The Grand Master then joined Anakin against Palpatine. The Emperor knew this was dangerous, and that he'd struggle against both of them. Therefore he takes a step back and blasts lightning towards Padme, causing Anakin to instinctively react by throwing his body in front of the lightning bolts. The Chosen One is hit and falls to the floor, shaking back and forth and completely disarmed. Palpatine uses this moment to double his efforts on Yoda, and the rematch of the century begins. However, this time, Sidious wouldn't lose. He tapped into the dark side, into the decades of careful and patient planning to defeat the Jedi. This was his last obstacle. At last, Yoda leaped into the air and he was struck down. Palpatine finally marches over to Anakin, who was still on the ground in pain. So this is the power of the Chosen One. I will take great pleasure in training your children in the dark side. Sidious continues to blast Anakin with Force lightning, expelling the most painful blast he had ever conjured before. Anakin winces in pain. There was nothing he could do. He was frozen. Palpatine's laughter fills the air as he shuts his eyes and relishes this memory. This was the day the Jedi were destroyed for good. Palpatine becomes distracted in his own rage and victory and begins laughing and chanting how he will always win. He curses the Skywalker name before... In a lapse of judgment, Padme had sneakily taken Yoda's lightsaber from his body and stabbed Palpatine in the back. It was over. Palpatine was dead. Anakin and Padme sigh in relief. Their children are finally safe.
What about him? What do we do with Obi-Wan now?
Anakin looked over at his fallen master. He is not lost forever. Palpatine twisted him with the dark side, but I can bring him back to the light. Wherever we go, he comes with us. Padme nodded in agreement. As they sat there, Padme's comlink buzzed. It was Bail Organa. She explained that Palpatine had been defeated, but it isn't over.
You must act quickly, Bail. The Republic needs leadership before the remnants of the Empire take control.
Why do you sound like you won't be here to help rebuild? Padme glances at Anakin and then at the twins, and finally at Obi-Wan.
Because I need to disappear for a while. We all do. Our children need safety, and Anakin needs time to heal.
I see, then go. I'll call for a new Supreme Chancellor election at once. The Republic will endure.
Thank you, Bail, for everything.
The hologram faded. Anakin and Padme embraced each other as they looked out over the lava. The next chapter of their lives had begun. If you enjoyed today's video, you must watch What If Anakin Had Visions of Choking Padme and What If Obi-Wan Killed Darth Vader. If you love Star Wars, then you need a saber. At Fantasy Sabers, we offer sabers from your favorite characters as well as sabers which we have made ourselves. It's such a fun community and has grown my love for Star Wars so much. I'll leave a link in the description below, so be sure to check it out.